Hey everyone, welcome to the kind of like recap video for my Hacktoberfest project. Now, I didn't really necessarily follow the rules of Hacktoberfest. You're supposed to kind of contribute to open PRs on GitHub, and you win this T-shirt. I didn't really care anything about that. I just wanted to learn something new, kind of start a side project. So I chose to make something like this dice roller from Google to just roll polyhedral dice for an RPG. And I decided to do it in Flutter. And so I made this small little mobile app that kind of does exactly what this does. It just rolls polyhedral dice. That's about it. And I chose to do it in this framework called Flutter. And so Flutter is Google's kind of like their new way of doing mobile development, right? Here you can see the tagline. It's a toolkit for building, beautiful native compiled applications for not only mobile, even though that is kind of the main focus, but web and desktop, all from a single code base. And I have to admit that they kind of commit to that statement, right? Here are their three like kind of pillars of development: fast, expressive, flexible, and native. And I think that they hit upon those, although I don't really have the ability to test the like actual performance at the moment. At least they definitely hit these two, and you can kind of see, they have like example apps, and just kind of like tries to sell you on this website. The showcase is also interesting because large companies are using this framework. New York Times, Square, and Tencent are all big companies that I think everyone at this point has heard of. And if they're using it, and Google themselves are using it, along with all these other companies, it's probably got some legs, right? And you could even see here, there are over 100,000 GitHub stars. So this is like kind of, the new hotness, I would say, at least in terms of mobile development. It's backed by a programming language called Dart, and Dart is kind of a combo of, I would say it's a combo of like JavaScript and maybe C#. Kind of feels a little bit like Kotlin, if you guys are familiar with Kotlin. It's type safe. There's a decent amount of boilerplate code that you have to write, especially with Flutter widgets, and everything in Flutter is a widget. But overall, there are ways to make it a little more flexible and easy to use, and it does feel very JavaScript single-page application framework-like. So if you're familiar with React or Vue, I would say those are the two that it most feels like. Mostly React, I would say. So if you're coming from a web development background, I think Flutter is a really good way to kind of, if you choose not to go React Native, Flutter is a really good way to kind of like ease yourself into native mobile development. On top of that, I kind of expect this from Google. Really good documentation. It's out there. They have fully featured docs here with widget catalogs and everything. You could see a bunch of different like UI layouts. Just to kind of get you started building. On top of that, they also have a pretty good, I should say, a well-populated list of YouTube videos that they produce themselves to kind of like teach you every week about like a new package or a new widget or a new way to do an animation or something. And like I said before, they are kind of focused mostly on mobile right now, but at least it's in alpha. Desktop support is in alpha, and so is web support. So at some point in the future, you're going to be able to build one app kind of going across everything, which I think is really neat. Anyway, for how I learned, I mostly watched this guy's videos here. Let's see, it's the NetNinja. And he's got a bunch of like, this is what he does on his YouTube channel. He's got a bunch of, various tutorial videos on frameworks or languages or whatever. But I found his tutorials to be very succinct and like to the point, but also very practical. Like I didn't feel like I was wasting time, and I felt like I learned, exactly what the title of the video was and how to at least implement like the basic features of it after watching the video. So I highly recommend this, and I'll throw this link in the description below. The second thing I would recommend, and I didn't get super far into this course, but it's very highly rated, is this Complete Flutter Development Bootcamp. And I think the instructor's name is right here. Yes, Angela Yu, and she is phenomenal. This course is super in depth, but yet easy to follow. If you have the 30 hours on hand, and I think Udemy's usually has a sale. If you have the $22 to purchase this, I highly recommend it if you want to get more of an in-depth learning of Flutter. I've made it to the Me card section so far. I haven't finished it, but this is kind of where I'm at. And so far the class has been phenomenal. Anyway, hope you guys learned a little something. Hopefully you'll check out Flutter. And if you have any questions or you want to see the source code, for some reason I can't click around in my IDE here. If you want to see the source code, I'll upload it to GitHub, and you guys can check it out. But until next time, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe if you want to hear me ramble some more.